tinfoil hat sitting on this desk next to me so I can put it on and say that was the plan all along.
The other numbers released today were the manufacturing, ISM manufacturing numbers. It came in pretty much spot on. The consensus was 47.0, came in at 46.9. So pretty much right there. Construction spending was up more than expected, 1.2% as opposed to a 0.1% expectation. And the prior was 0.3. So construction spending was up. But then again, you would think construction spending would be in May. Anyway, I mean, this is the time of year when you start construction projects. So
yeah, our local market, when I check these numbers of the market trend, pretty consistently, the new builds are actually up on number of sales. And then the other categories aren't doing as strong. So here in Columbus, we are selling more new builds than we were this time last year. So not all seasonal, but also we are selling a little bit more. They're building more. Maybe the other end of that, they have more that they've started.
I'm seeing buyers who they keep getting beat on listings, and they go to a new build just because they know they can walk in there and negotiate something and sign a contract and be done with it. So I'm seeing a lot of that for that reason.
Yeah, we had one of those together. We had a buyer looking Dublin up to like 450-ish, and then they ended up, building a patio home. It was already built like a spec. They got a patio home that was 350. It's like, for 100,000 less, I can have something that's new, and yeah, it's not in Dublin. It's not, it doesn't have a basement, but hey, we got warranties and don't have to worry about anything. And so that was their starter home, was a 350 new build, because the market is that competitive at that price point in Dublin.
Just a young couple buying a patio home?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was dealing with the same stuff.
What it meant. Yeah.
No, like last year, I had a buyer that we lost out on probably 10 or 12 homes, and they ended up getting a new build up in Johnstown, which I got them in right before the announcement of the factory going into New Albany, the chip plant. And like right after that happened, the prices shot up like $50,000, and they were started to go on multiple offer for lots on a new build. It was insane. The one thing that I do look at, I don't track it as closely as I used to, but the one thing that I follow is the Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index. And that has always been sort of to me, kind of a bellwether of where are the consumers' heads. And it still seems like if you look at that chart, we are still, and I can share it here so you guys can see the one I'm looking at, but we are still, and this is a 50-year chart since 1963. We're still at the bottom end of the market, or of the price index. So, there was the low right before 2023. And then, we kind of popped up here. April, I think we were at a 65, and we bumped back down to like 59. But if you go, here we were, the foreclosure crisis, 2007 to 2011. Rich, we're a little bit too young to remember, what our parents were paying interest rate wise back in the late 70s, but that was a bottom line number. And so,
Yeah, I know that I remember my dad. Of course, he had like a $21,000 mortgage,
Mm-hmm.
which he struggled his whole life to pay off. But uh, the rate was 5.2%. I can remember that. He got it. We built that house in 1965, and I remember thinking how lucky he was to have a 5.2 rate, because like all through the 70s and 80s, the rates were so high.
Right. Right. So, consumers are still not mentally in the game, so to speak. I'm guessing that this gray line here is 2020. Because as soon as,
Yeah.
I mean, it's been,
So there's the COVID drop, and we were doing good before that when a certain person was president of the United States. Everybody was confident. I'll just have to throw that in there.
well, I mean, right here,
we got a person with.
this is Jimmy Carter.
Just in the name of fairness for the video watchers, the COVID spending, Trump and then Biden, I don't know how much each one did, is a big part of all this and what's going on. COVID was the pretext for the spending that went rampant. It's all nuts.
Yeah, in hindsight, I don't know why rates went down as low as they did. Why were rates below twos? It's just I don't understand it, and that's really what the problem is right now. Is nobody wants to sell because they don't want to give up the rate, and that's really the problem at this point.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Why rates got that low? COVID, no COVID, whatever. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it was pretty. We have deals closing 2.8. It's like can't really print the money that cheap. I mean, it's pretty wild. And then
I mean, yeah, I had 15-year loans closing at 2.25. At one point, I could have done a loan with a 1 in front of it on a 15-year loan.
Serious? What would it take to is that just the credit and the amount of money down, or what loan was that? I'm curious. Just a regular conventional loan?
That would be that was like a 15-year fixed. They were pushing under 2%.
That's wild.
With a little bit of fees, you can get to like 1.875, something like that. It was there. Not for a long time, but we hit that at one point.
I don't think that will ever happen again, but maybe.
Not in our lifetime, Dave and I. Now, you guys, you may see it again.
Well, if we see it again, there's probably an issue.
Yeah, COVID 45 or something like that.
Oh, geez.
32.
Yeah, well, I don't think people are going to stand for any more COVID bullshit, even if it's real.
Yeah.
Well, Jason and I talked about that, is that you used all these tactics and stuff for everybody's safety, and then there's going to be a real virus that's legit a killer, and that everybody's going to go, yeah, no, not again. You're the boy who cried wolf.
I need a tinfoil hat sitting on this desk next to me so I can put it on and say that was the plan all along.
They're trying to wipe us out.
Population.
This is going to lower the world population.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, on the listing side, I mean, I don't know what everyone else here's experience is, but it certainly doesn't seem like it's getting any easier to buy. And then on the buyer side, it's the same story. It's just not, I don't think it's getting any easier in the short to mid term for buyers to buy, currently. So
No, it's
things are gonna switch up here in a year or two, and I don't have a crystal ball, but like you guys are saying, the 3% locked interest rates, people aren't going to be selling those, for 7%. So if you can get into something and you can afford it, waiting might not be the best play at the moment.
Yeah, I've probably had 15 phone calls in the past 2 weeks from the "we'll buy your house cash" people offering me stuff, and I've gotten open door letters and everything from left and right.